Shout out Jaguar Wright. She been kind of quiet for the last 2, 3 months. I was wondering what was really going on with her, especially when I seen she was involved in this new Diddy lawsuit, the one that Odell Beckham Jr. and your boy Drewski is in. Well, look, hearing Jaguar Wright finally address this situation and break it down, I'm obliged to believe every word. Yeah, I'm obliged to believe every word Jaguar Wright says. Why, bro? She had just won a Defender of Freedom Award. To take away from that, I don't know who's pulling the strings behind this. You know what I mean? I don't know who's doing the Geppetto with this whole little step. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. I'm just being real. I don't know who Geppetto in this. But I will say the part of adding Jaguar Wright in there, I don't know if it's to take the validity of everything that was going on, because I don't believe the whole case is faulty and fugazi. I just believe whoever added her name to it did that in order to take away the validity of whatever was going on to try to get Diddy out of there. Everything behind the scenes, bro, everything is lined up to try to help the man out. You know what I mean? They can't do it so much. They try to do it to where you don't notice, but they still doing it. You know what I mean? But yeah, bro, just hearing Jay and we about to get into it. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 second. Why? This one right here, bro, you gotta let this one marinate. You got to let this one marinate. Understand what you about to listen to before you listen to it. She even mentioned Big Homie CC, which is kind of crazy to me because I didn't read this. The public wasn't able to read this whole lawsuit like that. I never knew. They said Big Homie CC was in there getting down to. Listen to her.
To how sick that whole thing was and what they said I did. What they said I did. I was in Las Vegas. And I picked up a Jane Doe and a John Doe, mother and son, and forced them into a car where I was the passenger. And some woman that sued Michael Jackson after he died, lying her ass off, was driving. I had all these envelopes filled with cash, and I'm paying everybody off. And then we leave Vegas, and allegedly we went to California. And then that's when I kicked into action, when we got there. Because I had to organize the whole thing. Right? And I said, allegedly, I said, Jane Doe, John Doe, mother and son that don't nobody know, ain't nobody seen or heard from. All of a sudden, I'm telling people, get the remote. This hoe gonna learn today. That's what they said. I said in the law.
We didn't get a chance to read it all. What was Drewski
and I told them that if they didn't, participate and watch and witness, that I was gonna make sure they got that remote control too.
What was Drewski in Odell's part in this? What did they say?
I don't know. They said they all did. They jumped in. They got involved. They did. They said Big Homie CC did her first. Now this is the thing. I know it's all lies. I know it's all cat. Period. How have we gotten to the point where Americans have become so pathetic? And just because you can't handle the fact that you're losing, you just gonna make up some heinous story and put it on a woman who is just honored as a defender of freedom for speaking against all of these heinous acts. We can't take her down. We can't beat her. Oh, let's just lie. Let's put her in a lawsuit.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Originally, I thought Big homie CC was there just protecting a woman. Diddy said something about doing park or something like this, and he was about to pop him. The woman slapped the gun out of his hand. That's the lawsuit I read. I never read the lawsuit that they said Big homie CC was in there getting down. I never knew that. Nothing about that. You know what I mean? Nothing about that. Does he seem like the type? I can't go that far with him. I can't go that far with Big homie CC. I don't think that man getting down like that. The fact is, maybe Big homie CC was thrown in there to throw the validity off of the case too. But as far as Drewski and Odell Beckham Jr., you got to look in them. You got to look at both of them with a magnifying glass, a motherfucking magnifying glass. Why? I'm gonna just put it out there. You know what I mean? You ain't no gloves with this shit. You know what I mean? Ain't no gloves with this shit tonight. I'm gonna put it out there, bro. Odell Beckham was getting head from Justin Bieber in the club. You know what I mean? That's for one. To start that, look, we're gonna start there and we're gonna finish there with Odell Beckham Jr. because he's a nasty motherfucker. Yeah, buddy. He's a nasty motherfucker. The other one, Drewski, he was raised with the boys. You know what I mean? He was raised over there around Diddy Highs. You know what I mean? So, understand me. Him getting slippery and wet and jumping on something and Diddy telling him to take over, it could happen. You know, I'm obliged to believe that. You know why I'm obliged to believe that? He will grow up with the family, bro. He had been wandering around them people's house for years. If the kids are involved, you don't think they friends are, bro. They just want to be cool. And this is Drewski we talking about. The same one that did the whole love don't cost a thing shit with Ruby Rose. Yeah, buddy. Now she coming out and saying, oh, we're lying about doing the love don't cost a thing. Of course, because it makes him look even more guilty when it comes to this Diddy shit. What did he pay you? Was it 10K? Was it 20? Was it 30? What made you come out to play? Let's just be honest. Let's just be real, bro. You can't fool everybody, but I will give Jaguar Wright that. I don't think Jaguar Wright was escorting these people around with the envelopes and throwing everything together like that. I don't think that's why she was putting it together. I feel like she was a victim too. You know what I mean? I feel like, I'm going to say that again, I feel like Jaguar Wright, Miss Jaguar Wright, to you motherfuckers, I feel like she was a victim too. So I don't know what to state or who doing this with this civil lawsuit shit. You know what I mean? I don't want to say this ain't got nothing to do with Tony. I doubt this has anything to with Tony Busby. You know what I mean? Really, I don't think so. But that would be weird. But whoever doing this and Geppetto in this shit, don't believe everything, but don't not believe most of it. You know, if you can catch my drift, bro, some of this shit is true. Like I said, Odell Beckham Jr., he was in the club, surrounded, everybody was surrounded, and Justin Bieber had just come up like with his mouth open. I want to say white was around his lips, nigga, but I wasn't even looking that close, and it was dark in the club. I just know he swatted that phone out the way. Odell Beckham Jr. was getting his rocks off, fam, allegedly. Let's say allegedly because they like to strike niggas down. Allegedly, Odell Beckham Jr. was off in that club getting his motherfucking rocks off. You know what I mean? Look, bro, I don't know, like I said, I don't know who Geppetto in this whole Diddy case or all these cases. Sometimes, admittedly, it looks like Diddy is gonna, I ain't gonna say get out, bro, because they keep adding charges. Even Diddy himself is saying it's starting to be impossible to even fight this shit. Let's just be honest, you know what I mean? But it does look like that 20, 30 years that people thought he was gonna get for sex trafficking because they thought it was gonna be the RICO charge on it has been dropped. You know, the man still got some pretty serious allegations out there. But let's just be honest, bro. Most of the time it look like he's gonna get about 3 to 5 years, bro. And him just sitting in there waiting for trial, especially if he on some shit like Nelly, he might get time served. Let's just be honest, bro. Y'all drop it in the comments, but shout out Jaguar Wright. She's finally coming out and talking about this. It's been 2-3 months. She's been kind of quiet. Even the interview right now that she just put out, about an hour long. You know what I mean? About an hour long. She ain't even on the couch. You know what I mean? She ain't been on the blue couch in a minute. Don't know if she'll ever go back. But maybe she don't want to be tracked, Jack. Drop it in the comments, man. Shout out Jaguar Wright. Drewski's a motherfucker. Like I said, he was raised with the kids. Justin, Christian, that King fella. That's yeah. They were raised together, bro. allegedly, you know what I mean, he had to prove some loyalty, and he did. Odell Beckham Jr. had. That was enough, man. Yeah, that was enough. Come out and say, that's what we need Odell Beckham Jr. If y'all want Odell Beckham fans, please, if y'all want to clear his name, just tell him, hey, come out and talk what was going on with the club. We all seen the viral footage. We all seen it. So all that hiding and saying it didn't happen, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? What happened? Was he kissing your shoes? Was he massaging your ankles because you play football? You know what I mean? Or was he sucking your motherfucking dick? Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. But until those questions are answered, I'm obliged to believe some of that lawsuit is true. And I'm sorry, Jaguar Wright, because I fuck with Jaguar Wright. But her part, I'm saying, that was added in there. Somebody Geppettoed that. Even the big homie CC, him just getting thrown down there and doing that, I'm thinking that was added in there. Now, does he watch hours and hours of CP that I don't agree with? Yeah. I don't think he has no business doing that. But if he's really out there, man, and been deputized, I would just like to know. A lot of people say he's like Dog the Bounty Hunter. He's a bounty hunter. That means he was deputized. That would bring me some type of clarification. So I don't think he's just a weirdo somewhere watching CP when he ain't supposed to. Hours and hours of CP trying to see if that cabinet in the back is identifiable. You know, why would the cabinet be that motherfucking identifiable? You know what I mean? They don't make certain cabinets in Texas versus Idaho versus Japan. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. A cabinet is a cabinet. So when I heard them say certain shit, yeah, it did fire me up quite a bit. And then especially the whole demonstrating shit and him being 6'9" and always talking about a gun when I'm thinking he talking about these. See, we respect these down south. A lot of people say, bro, you cow. Y'all don't respect these down south. What the fuck, man? Somebody say Memphis. Man, I'm not talking about Memphis. Now, I'm lower. You know what I mean? Yeah, go lower. I'm talking about Texas, bro. Texas, Louisiana, we with these, bro. You got to know how to knuck if you buck down here, or your ass gonna get took off the map. Yeah. Guns, firearms, if you want to be politically correct, everybody got them down there. You know what I mean? That's easy. That's the easy one. You know what I mean? The hard thing is, can you protect yourself? Close combat, you know what I mean? Hand-to-hand combat. Can you get down? Meaning, if a nigga took everything from you and locked you in a cell and see if you can survive, can you survive among men? Or will you get ran over? Yeah, do you have the fight or do you have the flight in you? Yeah, bro. Let's just be honest. Let's be real. Everybody ain't got the fight in them. So when I seen big homie CC say demonstrate, but he was talking about a gun and not hands, all the respect left. Yeah, well, let's say 80% of the respect left, 20% of the respect kind of left when I seen him over there jugging with 607 on every week. You know what I mean? 607 on, he's a character, very entertaining. But when you take away, when you do all the joking and all the playing with the bullshit niggas, it take away from the real things you are doing in the world, and I can't see you just deputized and still fucking around. You know what I mean? It's, you know, Charleston White, shout out Charleston White, because he was born the same day, exact day of Jaguar Wright. You know what I mean? I got like same equal type of respect for the both of you. Now this man has changed my ideology so much, and I didn't want him to. Yeah, I didn't want him to, because he's always saying some ignorant shit, but everybody, well, let's say it like this. I don't like everybody, but then I do like everybody. But everybody is grouped together in what I just said, you know, real shit. So with Charleston, like, he has affected my ideologies, and I think everybody playing, bro. Yeah, I think everybody playing. Big homie CC is one of those guys that I think is just playing, especially when I see the black gloves on. Like, even with the little black gloves and not leave fingerprints for forensics, you know what I mean? But when you put them on and you're just doing a video, okay, maybe anybody you think can bust in, but if y'all sipping y'all Kool-Aid and doing what y'all supposed to do, it's no reason you should have to get your hands dirty while you're doing an interview. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. That type of things that make me think it's all just for entertainment. Everybody's playing. You know what I mean? Do I think he should be in this Diddy lawsuit? No. I think that's false. Yeah, I think that's false. I'm calling cap on it. Like I said, I'm calling cap on his part. I'm calling cap on Jaguar Wright's part. And I'm calling facts on yours. I'm calling facts on Odell Beckham part and Drewski part. Some of it was true, goddammit. Yes, even if all of it ain't true, some of it was true, goddammit. That's how Diddy was throwing. That's how he threw the personal assistant down. Show me your loyalty. So if you want to be in Daddy's house, show you're meant to be here. Happens every day out there. You know what I mean? Real shit. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. And once again, Odell Beckham Jr., you must, nigga. Yeah, nigga. I know you're listening, but you must come out and say what was going on that night in that club, man. You know what I gotta know. I gotta know. You know what I gotta know. Stop fucking with my mind. You know what I mean? Real shit. Everybody wants to know what makes Bush's beans taste so good. Roll that beautiful bean footage. I mean, shit, that was just a joke. A lot of people ain't gonna know where that came from, but somebody put that in me today. You know what I mean? It showed me an old ass commercial from back in the day, and it was very hilarious. I'm sorry to just blurt it out right in the middle of this video, but go watch it, bro. Check it out. The Bush baked beans commercial. And everybody wants to know what make Bush beans so great. Roll that beautiful bean footage. You know, I don't even know why that just came to me. I just thought it was so hilarious. Look, shout out Jaguar Wright. Shout out Big Homie CC. I can't shout out Drewski or Odell Beckham Jr. because they some creepos to me, bro. Even away from this lawsuit, bro, I was already looking at Drewski like something ain't right about him. You know, the whole love don't cost a thing with shit. Something ain't right about him. Odell Beckham Jr. getting soaked off in a club by Justin Bieber, allegedly. Something ain't right about him. You know what I mean? Big Homie CC, I like him, but it's something you gotta tell me, bro. Like all the hours of watching CP and not wanting to use these to demonstrate. I must understand why. You know what I mean? I must understand why before we can even move any further, because he's one of the people I don't like to talk about. I don't like to talk about Big Homie CC. But unfortunately, when it comes time, belt to ass, like when I be having to do them belt to ass moments, and I gotta put out that genuine crocodile from Saks from Fifth Ave, bro, it's gonna hurt, you know what I mean? It's gonna hurt when I strike a nigga with that. But I don't wanna have to do that to Big Homie CC. Why? Cause like I said, I like him. But a lot of shit he been saying lately been kinda like hitting me kinda wrong, bro. And like I said, when it come belt to ass time, that's for anybody, fam. That's just with me. A lot of people say, bro, that's on the internet. Believe it or not, the internet, I have to be friendlier on the internet. I'm more, I consider myself a very dangerous person, very dangerous. Like I've always been very funny too. I guess that's maybe the bipolar in me, you know what I mean? The Sagittarius in me, but I consider myself pretty serious guy, you know what I mean? When pushed to that point, I try to, it's a daily fight too, bro. Daily fight. I try every day, you know what I mean? Man, don't get so mad at this, don't get so mad at that, but there's something in me, bro. It's like I see red. I'm like a bull. I see red. When I see red, I charge, you know what I mean? Real shit, when I see red, I charge, bro. So I try to see blue these days, you know what I mean? That ain't no cripple blood references. That's just like emotions, you know what I mean? Am I seeing red or am I seeing blue? Am I listening to the man on this shoulder that's dressed in white? Or am I listening to my little demons on this shoulder that's dressed in red? You know what I mean? Half the time, most of the time, 80% of the time, I try to lean this way. Yeah, probably 95% of the time these days, I try to lean this way. But when I'm forced to lean that way, it actually still excites me. That's what's weird. So, yeah, I try to slay off of that shit, bro. But, all that shit besides the point. Shout out Jaguar Wright. I like that she finally came out and addressed this shit. Yeah, buddy. I like that she finally came out and addressed this, because now people know she ain't hiding. You know what I mean? Yeah, she ain't hiding. This ain't no, she ain't doing the Cuba Gooding Jr. Ducking, getting saved. Yeah, she ain't doing that. It's just that she got other shit going on. Like, a lot of people didn't know she was getting a Defender of Freedom Award, like me. I ain't even know they was. I did not know, you know what I mean? But I had to salute that when I heard that. Why? I like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I had to salute that when I heard that. Why? I like that. You know what I mean? Real shit. Niggas, shout out Jaguar Wright, bro. Like I said, shout out big homie CC. He must explain a few things to me. It ain't no bad blood there. Bro, this is what we do. This is what we do. This is why I'm from 6'4", 200. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna say I've always been the big nigga, but after I graduated high school and college, I kept growing. I kept growing and I kept growing and growing. I pretty much had the Michael Jordan effect and I became one of the biggest, you know what I mean? Became one of the biggest, you know what I mean? But all that's besides the point too, you know what I mean? All that's besides the point too, bro. I just gotta know some things, you know what I mean, that he must clear up. We can move past that, you know what I mean? We can move past all that, you know what I mean? That ain't for us. Drewski, you're fat fuck. You know, I'm gonna say it again, Drewski. You're fat fuck, you know what I mean? Whatever you feel, Drewski, is what you feel. Why? You ain't right. Yeah, you ain't right. You ain't been right since a baby. I'm pretty sure if we ask your parents, they'll say the same thing. Whatever your real name is, sure it's not Drewski, Drew, well, I don't even know. Drew has always been weird. It's always been weird. Odell, yeah, we caught him getting sucked off by half the team. He had that Aaron Hernandez thing going on. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's always been Odell. You didn't know? Oh, you couldn't tell? You know what I mean? Really says, yeah, it's Odell. That's where we know Odell from. Yeah, them people have always been them people. The people behind the scenes know them people, bro. There's certain things that you can't hide, even when they're embarrassing, you know what I mean? The things you did in the dark gonna come to the light, bro. Why? Because there's always somebody that's willing to tell it, whether it take $10K to play or not. Most of the time, it might even take $200, but you know what? Whether it take a little money or not, it's always somebody willing to tell them secrets you're holding so deep in your hide. You know what I mean? Look, shout out Jaguar Wright, Squads from the Playground. Look, y'all like, share, subscribe. Please like, share, subscribe. It supports the channel. We almost to 10K, fam. 10K from nothing. Yeah, that's glorious. A lot of people have so many big timers on their platform, bro, say numbers, like show that, you know what I mean? But to grow numbers from the ground, you know what I mean? And this is wasn't even my forte. This is something I just started doing to play. You know what I mean? My forte is the music, fam. Squads from the Playground. Y'all do go check out the discography. That's my forte, bro. I've always been a musical protege. I too refuse to get on my knees. Yeah, I refuse to get on my knees. It's another thing that bring me toward Miss Jaguar, right? I see the talent, fam. I see the talent and I understand what goes on with that talent when you're not willing to play by the rules that they want you to play by. You know, that's what makes us one of the same, fam. I understand it. Drop it in the comments, bro. Squads from the Playground, Max Headroom, streaming on all platforms. If you really want to go a little further, The Feelings of the Father, very emotional shit. I've been married 16, 17 years, bro. 16, 17 years. I'm going to show you what it feels like to be a real nigga, bro. Real father, son, husband. You know what I mean? Father, son, husband. You know what I mean? I'm going to show you what it means to be like that. And I'm going to show you how I get like that. But you got to understand. You got to look. You got to go jam the album so you can understand where I'm coming from. Once you understand the album and you jam it, shit, that shit going to be self-explanatory. And all you going to do is come back and, you know what? I got to salute this nigga. Why I got to salute this nigga? Because I ain't never seen nobody do what he do like he do. And you never will. You know what I mean? Squads from the Playground. Like, share, subscribe, nigga. Peace.
If they throw it, I'ma catch it or play the game like Tetris. I'm one of a kind rap, people tell me I'm a clip. I've been working 24 hours, summertime to winter. I ain't really at the chill, it gotta be about business.